comfortable, allow yourself to connect with the base of your body so you feel a bit more grounded. Allow yourself to sit up tall so you open up space in your body. And take a moment and just set an intention for your practice, whatever it might be. It might not be a specific pose that you want to experience. It might not be a certain type of movement energetically that you want, but what you want to feel like when you're done, possibly, or maybe where you want your energy or your mind to be when we're finished. So take a moment, breathe, notice how you're feeling. Continue to make adjustments until it feels just right. And then we're going to go ahead and lower our chin toward our chest. And let's just let the head rest close to the chest for a few moments, letting go of some neck tension. And breathe. Now on the inhale, let's lift the head up to level and then lift your chin above level. Notice how that feels through the throat, but also notice your upper back when you lift your head up like that. You might feel more movement in the upper back a bit. And on the exhale, let's lower the chin down. Take a moment, spend a little bit more time here. You might go ahead and turn your head to the right, look out over your right shoulder, and then lower your chin back down to the shoulder and bring it back to center. Take it over to the left shoulder. Look out over your left shoulder. So we want to utilize as much of this movement as possible. Lower your chin down again. Let the head come back to center. We're going to do this 2 more times on each side. Inhale, look out over your right shoulder again. Maintain lots of space. Lower the chin down. Bring it back to center. And then over to the left shoulder. And then lower your chin back down. One more time through. Take your head over to your right shoulder. Again, get the stretch in the neck to the greatest degree that feels comfortable to you, and then lower the chin back down. Head comes to the center. Turn your head to the left. Look out over that left shoulder. And then we're going to bring our chin back down, bring our head back to center. And then lift your head up, but lift your shoulders up by your ears this time. Notice how that feels. Let's squeeze the shoulders together and back. So you get your upper back muscles to try to draw close to each other between the shoulder blades. Let your hands come down behind you. This is a big stretch across the chest. And then we're going to go ahead and sweep those arms forward. As you do, you want to try to bring your shoulders as close to each other in front as you can. And then lift the shoulders up. Exhale, draw your shoulders back. Release your hands down. We're going to do that one more time. Sweep the arms forward. Lift the shoulders up. Exhale, draw your shoulders back. Release the hands down. Now let your fingertips rest down behind you. Work the hands even closer to one another. So now all the muscles along your spine are in a shortened position. Take a minute and notice how that feels. You could just work the shoulder blades even closer to each other if you like. This is going to stretch across the chest, through the throat, the muscles of the chest. Is a good way to release a lot of tension that you might be holding there. And breathe. Now keep your right hand where it's at. Take the left hand, bring it over to your right knee, and just turn your body toward the right knee to start. Seated spinal twist. Hand resting on your knee is going to keep your focus toward that knee. Slide the hand in closer to your hip. Press against the thigh with your right or your left palm, and that's going to take you into a slightly deeper twist. Remember to keep the focus of the twist from mid-chest to tailbone. Try to keep your neck neutral and relaxed. And breathe. And then we're going to come back to center. Bring your left hand behind you. Again, keep those shoulder blades nice and close. Sit up nice and tall. And then we're going to go ahead and take the right hand, bring it over to your left knee. Again, sit up tall so we don't get too much compression through the rib cage here. Lots of space available. You can slide your hand in closer to your hip if you like. Take this twist a bit deeper and breathe. Good, come back to center. Now from here, let's go ahead and move down into the hips. Bring your attention into the hips. We're going to do a few hip circles. Let's start out real small with our hip circles. Lean to the right, a couple of inches. Lean toward that right knee. Bring your body to the center, over to the left, and back to center. So let's make these circles progressively larger at the pace that feels right to you. Don't push or force the body beyond what it feels comfortable going into. And breathe. Allow yourself to notice if your body starts to resist. Give yourself permission not to go past that resistance, maybe even back off a little bit. And breathe. Sometimes when we have a lot of stress and tension in our body, we're better off moving really gentle and slower than we normally would, rather than just trying to push that discomfort away. Now, when you come back to center, we're going to pause. We will take and make some circles in the opposite direction. You might switch the cross of the legs if you like. Sit up tall, attention comes to the hips, and once again, when we start to move, let's move in the opposite direction, and let's keep the movement fairly small to start. So it should be as gentle and comfortable as possible. And then you can start to make the circles more expansive as it feels right to you. But again, when you feel like it's just right, give yourself permission not to have to go beyond that. And breathe. Now, when we come back to center, we're going to pause. Let's go ahead and attend to the shoulders a little bit more. Let's take our arms out at shoulder height, palms up. This is inhale, and on the exhale, we're going to slowly bring those fingertips to the shoulders. Inhale, straighten the arms. And exhale, fingertips to the shoulders. Again, inhale. And exhale. Now, once the fingertips come to the shoulders this time, let's pause here. Now, our elbows may be up pretty high during this particular portion, but you may decide to drop the elbows a little bit as we open those elbows out. So this depends on how your shoulders feel. So adjust higher or lower depending on your range of motion. Inhale, open your elbows out. And exhale, draw your elbows toward each other. They don't have to meet. Inhale. And exhale. Again, this is nice, slow, somatic movement. Inhale, open out. And exhale, draw the elbows toward one another. Let's interlace the fingers. And then inhale, open your elbows out. Palms down. You want this just about mid-chest. Exhale, elbows draw toward each other. Inhale, open out. Exhale, elbows toward one another. Once more, inhale. And once more on the exhale. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and release the hands down. We're going to come into a seated spinal twist. Let's bring our attention into our right shoulder. Lift the shoulder up. Draw that shoulder back. Place your hand down behind you. So now we've got a lot of opening across the upper right chest. It's going to be above and below the collarbone. Allow yourself to sit nice and tall. And now maybe we go into a deeper twist this time. We're going to bring that left hand over to the right knee. And then slide it in closer to the leg, press against the thigh. So now with that shoulder blade drawn in closer, you might feel a lot of this in the upper back this time. Take a moment and notice how it feels. And then we're going to come back to center. Bring your left shoulder up. Draw it back as far as you can. Place it down behind you, maybe even close to mid-back. And then bring your right hand over. And let's come into a seated spinal twist here. Keeping the spine nice and open. Relax and breathe. We're going to come back to center. Now, one last thing in seated, and then we'll move on to some other things. We might lean forward from our hips. So your hands can be in close to the hips to limit your movement, or you can maybe put them down in front. Walk your hands out, come down onto your forearms. So this is going to let go of tension across your sacrum, your hips, your low back. Breathe. Now you might walk your hands over to the right. That's going to stretch to your left side body, rib cage, waist, and hips. Bring your hands back to center. Take your hands over to the left side and allow yourself to notice how your right side of your body feels. And then when we come back to center, you might come all the way down onto your forearms. Maybe stack your hands flat, or in this, let your head rest on your hands. And then when you're ready, we're going to press into our hands, walk our hands back in. Let's come to a tabletop position. Wrists directly underneath your shoulders, knees under your hips, neck is neutral. Again, always coming into something very familiar and neutral to start. And check in with your back. Make sure everything feels engaged, nothing straining. And then we're going to lift our head up. Look forward. Let the center of your spine drop down. Tailbone tilts up. And notice how that feels. You're getting compression between the vertebrae. Should be gentle. And on the exhale, tuck your tailbone under, draw your chin to your chest, lift the center of your spine up toward the ceiling. So let's move through this a couple more times. Inhaling and exhaling. Flexion and extension of your spine. We do this in a seated position often, but this gives you a little bit more freedom of movement. Inhale and exhale. We're going to ease our hips back toward our heels. Let your chest come to rest on your thighs. Stack your hands underneath your forehead. Child's pose, compression in the abdomen. Compression in the knees and the hips as well. Now from here, let's extend those arms out in front. Again, fingers spread wide. Let's shift our body forward, bring our shoulders over our wrists. And on the exhale, release your hips down. Take a minute and pause here. This first time through, you might feel a lot of tension across the hip flexors and in your low back. And then we inhale, lift our hips up. Exhale, ease our hips back toward our heels. Now it's up to you if you want to stay in child's pose or in the back bending version, or if you want to flow through this a few times. Take your time if you're going to flow through this. We want to let go of that tension gradually. We're not trying to force it out of our body. Exhale. Breathe. Now this time when you come forward, let those hips release down, kind of hang out here a little bit longer. Notice how that feels. And then we're going to bend our elbows and lower down toward the mat. As you lower down, let's either stack our forearms on top of one another or place your elbows underneath your chest. For some that might be more comfortable. We do want to get our hips to relax as much as possible, so make sure that across your hip flexors, they're relaxed. Mild back bend. So crocodile is going to have more compression in the abdomen. A mild back bend. But if you choose the Sphinx pose, you'll have more of a back bend going on. So notice how that feels. That gives you a different option. And again, it gives you more space to breathe. Now from here, let's go ahead and slide our hands back close to our rib cage, press against your palms, come up off the mat. And so the wrists should be directly under your shoulders. The stretch should extend all the way to the knees. You will feel that mild back bend. Try to relax your glutes a little bit. Your hips will release down a bit more. And then we're going to take the knees wide, toes together, walk your hands back until your hips come as close to your heels as possible. Come down onto the forearms. So you can just come down onto the forearms and keep your head elevated. Maybe stack your hands flatter in fists. Now, if you prefer, you can bring the forehead all the way down to the mat, but that's completely up to you. Wide knee version of child's pose is going to let go of more low back tension. You're going to feel more release across your sacrum. And breathe. And then from here, let's press into our palms, lift our hips up, come to a tabletop again. Now this, we're going to take our right leg back behind us. Tuck your toes. Let's make sure your hips feel level. So you want to drop the right hip down a little bit more to meet the left. Press through the back of that right heel. You're going to get a good stretch behind the knee, the calf, even in the ankle you might feel that. And breathe. Let's take that right leg and cross over the left. You can just cross over or you can take it pretty wide if you like. You're going to stretch your right hip that way. Look over your left shoulder at your right foot and breathe. That's a nice lateral flexion of your spine and a nice hip stretch as well. Now bring your right leg back to center. Step your right leg forward and through. We want knee over ankle. Place your hands on the inside of that foot and let's ease our hips forward and back here. Ankles, knees, hips, hamstrings, and quadriceps. So again, this addresses all the joints in the legs as well as the muscles. Taking your time to move through this. You might put your left hand across the right foot and right hand on your right knee. Turn your torso toward that right knee. Lift your right arm up if you like. A modified twisted low lunge. If you want to engage that left leg a little bit more, tuck your toes, come off the kneecap, press back through the heel, and breathe. And then put your right hand down on the inside of that right foot, bring your left knee down, and allow yourself to consider angling your right toes out. Bring your hands above that right foot, tuck your toes on your left leg, come off your kneecap, drop your left hip down. That's going to be a really good stretch in that left hip flexor. Your right hip and knee are in a more compressed state. And breathe. You're going to walk those hands back in. Bring your right knee back to meet your left, and we're back to our tabletop once again. Take your left leg back behind you. Tuck your toes, level your hips out, press through the heel so you get a good stretch in the back of that leg. And breathe. Slide the left leg across to the right side. Press through the heel. Look over your right shoulder to your left foot. Lateral flexion of your spine. And breathe. Now bring the left leg back to center. Step the left leg forward and through. Place your right hand across in the left foot. Left hand on your left knee. Turn your torso. Consider lifting your left arm up. And breathe. Maybe we tuck the toes on the right leg, come off the kneecap. Then we're going to put the left hand down on the left knee. Let's bring our hands on the inside of that foot, ease your hips back and forward here. And then decide if you want to angle your toes out, place your hands above that left foot, tuck your toes on your right leg, come off your right kneecap, drop your right hip flexor down. Big stretch in that right hip flexor. Your left knee and ankle are in a compressed state, as well as your left hip actually. And breathe. And then let's walk our hands back in. And let's come off of our knees for a few moments. We'll do our Z-sit now. We want to bring our right leg forward and our left leg back. Once you come into this position, let's place one hand on either side of this knee. And on the exhale, let's bend your elbows and start to lower down toward the floor. Use your arms as much or as little as you like. If your shoulders are tense, try not to use your arms too much. Inhale, lift up through the crown of the head. Mild twisted back bend. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, lifting up. One more time. Exhale. And inhale. Now from here, we might take our hands to the outside of that knee so that we can twist a little deeper. Or take the hands all the way back to the hip if you want to twist even more deeply. Again, notice how this feels in the rib cage, waist, and hips. Stay upright with this or fold over your leg, come down onto your forearms in deer pose. So a deep twist, deep compression, calming forward fold. Let's walk our hands back in again. Hand behind your hip. Keep your hips down if you choose, or press into that hand. Lift the hips up, stretch through the front of the body. Lift that left arm up. And then let's lower back down. Let's extend our left leg out. Keep our right leg centered. Hands in front of the ankle. Bend your elbows. Walk your hands out. And again, we want to get to that place where our body starts to resist. At that point, pause. Give yourself a moment to relax. And then if you want to try going further forward, you can. There's generally always a little bit more available. So knowing that resistance that we need is just our body trying to get us to not push, not force. Doesn't mean we can't go further. And then let's walk our hands over to the extended leg. You can place your hands on your thigh. You can slide your hands to your ankle. Notice how this feels. This is a great stretch in the extended leg, but notice your opposite hip might be letting go of some tension. You might even bring that right hand to the outside of the left leg, ankle, or foot. You'll feel more of a stretch in the side body, a release in the hip a bit more as well. And breathe. Let's walk our hands back in. Now, we can bring that left leg in front in an easy seated position. We can put our foot on our knee on our foot for a square, or maybe even opt for bringing knee on top of knee, shoelace. So notice how this feels. Take your arms out to shoulder height. Bring your right arm over your left. Give yourself a nice big hug. Notice how this feels. Lift your elbows up. Give your upper back a chance to stretch and the muscles in the chest a chance to relax a little bit more. We can stay here, drop our chin, round forward, or fold forward. Now notice when you come forward how this feels. It is going to deepen the stretch in your shoulders and hips. It's going to add some compression to your abdomen as well. And forward folds are generally calming. Now inhale, come back up. And on the exhale, let's unwind the arms, extend them out, open up space across your chest and upper back. Then bring those hands down beside you. Sit tall, elongate the neck, turn your fingers toward the back of the mat so that you get a good stretch from shoulder to shoulder across the chest. And then lower the chin to the chest. So now we're going to do the full somatic neck circles. Allow yourself to turn your head toward the right shoulder. Look out over the shoulder. Lift your chin up there from the shoulder here. Elongate your neck as you bring it to the center. Turn to the left. Lower the chin down and back to center. So maybe 2 more circles like that. Take full advantage of this slow, gentle movement to open up as much space in the body as you can. It doesn't matter really how big a circle we make, as long as we're not feeling any compression or pinching when we're moving through this. We want all that space to stay open. We're just trying to release tension. We're not trying to make a particular size circle. And when our head comes back to center, let's pause. Let the chin rest near the chest a little longer, and then lift your head up. Let's go ahead and try this on the other side. Left leg forward, right leg comes back, one hand on either side of this knee. And on the exhale, bend your elbows, lower down, take your time. And inhale, lift up through the crown of the head. So a couple more times with this, exhaling. And inhaling. Once more, exhale. And once more on the inhale. Now, hands can come to the outside of the knee. You can walk the hands all the way back toward the hip if you like. Stay upright with the twist or add the forward fold. Going to add some additional compression to the abdomen, calming as well. And breathe. But again, we could stay in an upright position as we twist. We're going to walk those hands back in. You might press into your hand behind your hip. Again, you can lift the hips up. You can reach that right arm up and over and stretch through the front of the body if you choose. And breathe. And then from here, we're going to lower back down. And let's extend our right leg out. Keep our left leg centered. Place your hands in front of the ankle. Lean forward. Walk your hands out until you meet some resistance once again. And breathe. Maybe your body lets you go a little bit further forward. And then we can explore taking our hands to that extended leg if you like. As we shift the focus to the extended leg, allow yourself to notice this opposite hip and whether or not it's letting go of some tension there. And breathe. And then we'll walk the hands back in, bring our right leg in front, foot on knee, knee on foot. Allow yourself to choose shoelace if that's a better fit for you. Take your arms out to shoulder height. Bring your left arm over your right. Give yourself a nice big hug here. And notice how this feels. It is going to stretch the upper back. It's going to shorten the muscles in the chest. Take a moment and notice how this feels to you. You can stay right here. Again, it's a great stretch of the upper back. You can drop your chin, round forward, or fold forward. Coming forward is going to add more calming to this, but it's also going to deepen the stretch in shoulders and hips. Now, inhale, come back up. And on the exhale, let's unwind the arms, extend them out. Lots of space across the chest and upper back. Release your hands down beside your hips. Sit tall. Turn your fingers toward the back of the mat. And again, notice how this feels. Big stretch across the chest. Muscles along your spine are in a shortened position. Again, they can come in a little closer if you prefer. Let's lower the chin to the chest. Notice how the back of the neck feels here. Let's turn your head to your left shoulder. Look out over the left shoulder. Lift your chin up. Bring your head to center. Turn to the right. Lower the chin down and back to center. You might make a couple more circles in this direction. Allow yourself to take your time and notice how this feels, and breathe. And we're going to come back to center. We're going to pause, lift the head up, release the shoulders. Let's go ahead and bring the soles of our feet together. Let our knees drop open. Again, this is great for hip opening. When we let the knees drop open, if your knees are up high, you might feel that there might be some resistance in your hips. You can always take your feet out further from you, separate them if you'd rather, so that you can get a bit more release. You might decide you need to bring them in closer. If you do that, maybe rock a little bit and loosen up your hips. But when you get to that place where you find the position is just right for you, again, we are still going to have some resistance somewhere. Maybe in the hips, maybe in the knees, it could be across your back. But take a moment and again, sit tall. Allow yourself to elongate the neck, drop the shoulders down. Now, by placing your hands around the ankles, it just gives you a place to anchor your arms, and it does let go of a lot of shoulder tension like that. So the knees are dropping open at this point. It's passive. We're not moving right yet. Now, you could bounce your knees. That's going to stretch your muscles a bit, but it's probably not your muscles that are hindering your hips opening out completely. So if you notice that your hips are resistant, try pressing your knees toward the floor. Not with your hands, but actually just tell the knees to press down. So I have my hands at my ankles and I'm pressing my knees toward the floor. They're not dropping a lot, but notice how much you feel in your hip joints when you do that. You can stay upright. You can hinge forward from your hips. Now, when you come into this, again, you're going to meet some resistance at a certain point. Allow yourself to notice when your body resists. And again, we don't want to push through that. We want to acknowledge it, give our body a chance to relax. Maybe our body will go a bit further forward, but let go of expecting the body to release the tension immediately. It's like when you set an expectation on something and it makes it seem that much more impossible to get where you want to go. So let your body find its way into letting go of that tension. And breathe. So we ease into this a little bit more. Continue breathing and relaxing. And let's go ahead and lift our head back up. We might take our legs out into a comfortable wide-legged position. Maybe not our maximum stretch at this point. And again, we want to see how this feels behind our knees, our calves, basically all the muscles in our legs. So no engagement, just extending the legs out, sit tall, notice how that feels. You might draw your toes towards you and stretch the back of the legs a bit. Maybe point your toes and you're going to feel that in the tops of your feet, your shins. You can point and flex a few times if you want. And breathe. You might notice maybe where resistance is. Now maybe you allow yourself to lean forward from here, from your hip flexors. Hands can be down in front. You might walk those hands out. Again, you're going to meet resistance once you fold forward. Where is it? Is it in the back of the legs? Is it behind the knees? Could be right at the tops of your thighs. Allow yourself to relax. Maybe even slide your hands down towards your ankles. I'm going to walk those hands back in, and let's go ahead and come into both poses. Let's place our feet on the mat and then wrap your arms around your shins and sit up tall. For one thing, this is going to ease some back tension, and let your knees be slightly separated so it feels comfortable in the abdomen. Just sit up tall and breathe. This is not quite boat pose, but this prepares us for boat pose. And then we might go ahead and lean back a little bit. Hands can rest on your shins. So this is coming into more of a position for boat pose. Let's slide our hands right behind our kneecaps. And breathe. You might lift your feet up off the floor. Again, this is moving us toward boat pose. You could extend those legs out. And breathe. Maybe decide to release the legs and extend your arms. And breathe. And then we're going to go ahead and put the feet down, wrap our hands around the shins, sit tall so you can alleviate any stress in the low back that might have created. It's going to strengthen your back in time, but we just want to always remember to not do too much quite right off the bat. And so now we've experienced how we get into boat pose. This time you might go ahead and reach through and grab your big toes. I usually use my index finger and middle finger to loop around the toes, and then we're going to rock back and find a balance point. Let's start to straighten those legs out in front of us if you like. You can partly extend them, or maybe you fully extend them. And breathe. You could widen the legs and come into a wide-legged boat. Continue lifting up through the crown of the head so you bring your torso closer to your legs, create that sense of balance. And then we're going to go ahead and bring the feet back together. Bring your knees together. Wrap your hands around the shins again and sit up tall. This time, let's extend the left leg out. Keep your right leg on the inside, or take that right foot and cross over that left leg. Left leg can stay straight, or you might bend the knee and bring that foot in towards your hip. Sit tall. Wrap your hands around the knees so that you can help elongate your spine here. Look at your right shoulder. Place your hand down behind you. Seated spinal twist. Hand can just rest on your knee. If you pull the knee in, you're going to get a deeper stretch in your right IT band. You could wrap your elbow around the knee, but that's going to create a lot of compression in the torso. You might want that, maybe not. You could put your elbow on top of the knee and press into the knee to deepen the twist. So allow yourself to choose the version that works best for you. And breathe. And then we're going to come back to center. Bring the right hand to your right ankle and twist in the opposite direction. Unwind the twist. Now we'll come back to center, re-extend the left leg, and then bring your right foot on the inside of the left leg. Your foot can be anywhere on the inside of that leg near your ankle or all the way to the top of your thigh. And let's sit tall, sit up. Elongate the spine, lift through the crown of the head, and then hinge from our hip flexors. Fold over this extended leg. Slide your hands down to the ankle or the foot. So you're getting a hip opening stretch as well as a leg stretch in the extended leg. And breathe. Make sure that you're not rounding your back too much at the low back portion. We want to keep it nice and long. Walk the hands back in. Bring your right knee in, extend your right leg, bring your left knee in this time. Let it cross over, keep your right leg extended, or bend the knee into your hip. Let's put our right hand on top of our left knee. Sit up tall. Look at the left shoulder. Hand can stay here. You might put your left hand behind you. You can pull the knee in, wrap your elbow around the knee, or let it rest on top. Choose the one that feels best to you. And breathe. Now inhale, we're going to come back to center. Left hand comes to your left ankle, twist in the opposite direction. And then as we come back to center, re-extend the right leg, bring your left leg on the inside. And again, that foot can be positioned anywhere that feels comfortable to you. Sit tall, hinge forward, slide your hands to your ankle if you like, and breathe. Walk those hands back in. We'll bring this left leg and extend it out. Let's go ahead and come onto our backs. Let's place our feet on the mat. When you place your feet on the mat, you want your feet to be about hip distance apart, maybe wider, but I want you to decide where it feels comfortable to you. Press into your feet, lift your hips up a little bit, set your sacrum down more comfortably. Check with the arch of your back, make the adjustments there. Lift your head up and your shoulders, elongate your neck. Set your head back down so your neck muscles feel nice and neutral and relaxed. Adjust the shoulders so that the space across your upper back widens. Let your hands rest on your body. Maybe knees sway side to side. Constructive rest pose is taking a methodical approach to winding down, especially if you do it regularly, like every time we do this at the end of class when we're moving into supine things. Your body is beginning to be trained to relax when you start this process. So the knees are moving side to side. Notice how your low back feels. Notice where your knees want to go. Do they want to drop all the way to the floor? Do they want to stay pretty contained to the center? So put away expectations and instead respond to what your body actually wants or needs. Depending on how far apart you have your feet, this is more or less asymmetrical. Now, after we've completed this on both sides one last time, we're going to meet back in the middle. Walk your feet in close to each other, ankles and knees touch. Maybe lift your feet up off the floor, place your hands on your knees. You can rock a little bit across your low back here. If you have your knees away from your body, you're not going to be getting the compression in the abdomen. You'll get more of a focus across your sacrum. Now you can bring those knees in closer to your chest. Hands can rest on the knees or shins. That's going to add a lot more compression to your abdomen. Again, you can continue to rock a little here and breathe. Now we might widen the knees. When you widen the knees, you're taking pressure off your abdomen, but keep your hands on your shins. That's going to still keep your back releasing tension. Take a moment, notice how that feels. Slide your hands to your ankles if you like. Good inner thigh stretch here. Take a moment, just notice. You could interlace your fingers, wrap them around the feet, press your knees open. Now notice how that feels in your inner thighs. So compared to a seated version of this, you have a lot more freedom in your hips. Your back is supported, so it does give you a chance to experience the same pose from a different perspective. And breathe. Maybe reach for the edges of your feet. Lift the soles of the feet up toward the ceiling, happy baby. Now, if you have your hands on the edges of the feet, that's drawing your knees closer to the floor. If that's too much intensity, just keep them on the outside of the calves for some support. But it's your choice. What do you need here? And breathe. You can rock from knee to knee. Give yourself a full back massage. Not quite what you get at a high-end spa, but it does do the trick sometimes to let go of that tension. And breathe. Let's bring those feet together. Bring your knees together. And then we're going to slide our hands right behind the kneecaps. Thighs are in close. Let's extend the lower legs up toward the ceiling. So partially or fully. Keep your hands here for support. Or take the hands away. Legs up the wall. Again, one of the best inversions that there is. Gives you all the benefits with none of the risks. Circulation is improved in your legs. Your heart is strengthening. Your digestive system is strengthening. It's actually great for anxiety and insomnia. And you could use an actual wall if you wanted to for complete restorative version. Again, you don't have to move your legs. That's more of a passive version. But if you want to, you can stretch your legs while you're here. Point and flex your feet. So you're going to get a nice overall leg stretch. And breathe. Notice how it feels. You might even decide to circle your ankles a few times while you're here if your ankles still need a little more attention. Back in the other direction. So maybe reach up for the big toes. Loop our fingers around those toes. Press to the sole of the feet. Soles of the feet. I'm not sure I said it. And notice how that feels in the back of the legs. You might go for a wide-legged supine pose. And this is going to give you an inner thigh stretch and back of the leg stretch. Shoulders are supported by the floor, so your shoulders are not straining. And then we're going to go ahead and bring those feet back to center. Bring the knees together. Set your left foot down. Put your right foot on top of that left knee. Supine pigeon. Nice hip opening stretch here. Again, this one's low key, low stress. If this is all you need, that's perfectly fine. You can bounce your knee for a little bit more if you choose. Maybe you decide you want to bring this left knee in towards your chest. That's going to intensify the stretch in the right hip and knee. Wrap your hands around that left shin if you choose. Or extend the left leg up toward the ceiling. Maybe even reach up for that big toe. So lots of different ways to explore this exact same stretch. So the good thing is you have a lot of variety. The question is always to ask yourself what you need today. Set the left foot down and let's cross our right knee over our left. That's going to create an internal rotation of your thigh. It's going to target your right hip. Let's let those knees drop to the left and extend your right arm out. So this is a pretty significant twist from the base of your skull to your tailbone. You get a deep stretch in your shoulders and in your hips. Now, if you get this far and you decide, well, this is more than I really wanted, just uncross your knees. It's going to take it down quite a bit as far as intensity, and breathe. And then we're going to let the knees come back to center. And on the exhale, set your right foot down. Let's take this left foot, lift it up off the floor, and put that left foot on top of our right knee. Once again, you can bounce your knee a little bit for a bit of a stretch. You might draw your right knee into your chest for a deeper stretch if you like, and breathe. Maybe extend your right leg up. Add a leg stretch to this twist or stretch of your hip. And again, you can reach for the big toe if you want. And then let's go ahead and rebend that right knee. Set the foot down. Slide your left knee over on top of your right knee. Let your knees drop to the right side of the body. Extend your left arm out. Look towards your left hand. Once again, you may or may not decide that this is too intense. You can always uncross those knees. And breathe. And now let's go ahead and bring those knees back to center. And on the exhale, we'll uncross those knees. Let your ankles and knees touch here. Let the soles of the feet come together. Knees drop open. Passive external rotation of your thighs. This one's going to be using gravity to try to pull your knees toward the floor. You can move your feet further from your body or closer in, depending on how it feels. The closer they are, the more intense the stress in your hip joints. Again, we're letting gravity do the work of letting go of the connective tissue tension. So the goal is to try to relax as much as you can so that connective tissue can stress. And when we let it stress, it eventually releases the tension from your body. And from here, we'll bring those knees together, slide our feet to the end of the mat, reach our arms overhead, take a moment and stretch out from fingertips to toes. Point and flex your feet if you like. You might decide to stretch each side of the body separately if you prefer. Maybe shake your arms and legs out. So do your best to get rid of your last bit of tension. We're going to come into Shavasana pose, palms up, feet out to the sides. Now, if this doesn't do it for you, if this is not the most comfortable position you can think of, move your body into something that feels more comfortable. This is the most important part of the practice, is letting go of doing and allow your body to relax at its own pace. So we want to check in and notice our breathing to start. Give yourself permission to observe the rhythm of your breath, the depth, and the pace of your breath. There's no right or wrong way to breathe. We just observe what is. Allow yourself to follow the breath and see if, as you're paying attention to your breathing and not trying to fix it or change it, that it doesn't begin to become more steady and rhythmic. Allow yourself to notice areas of the body that might be holding some tension. Draw your awareness to your temples. Notice if you have any tension in the temples, maybe behind your eyes. Feel and sense your forehead. Draw your awareness to the folds of your ears, inner ears and earlobes. And then notice where your upper and lower jaw meet, right beside the ears. Right there where the upper and lower jaw meet, there can be a lot of tension there. It's also where the vagus nerve runs through. So notice how that feels. Allow your attention to move to the bridge of your nose, your cheeks. Allow yourself to notice the roof of your mouth, the surface of your tongue, your chin. Draw your awareness into the throat. Allow yourself to feel and sense your throat. Notice as you swallow any sensation there. Feel and sense the sides of your neck and the back of your neck, as well as the base of the skull. Allow yourself to feel and sense the entire head and neck. Let's let the attention move down into the tops of the shoulders. Notice if you have a lot of tension there. Notice your collarbones. Notice the area across the upper back. Bring your awareness into your shoulder blades, as well as your sternum, rib cage, chest. Notice the entire shoulder region. Does it feel like you've been carrying a lot of stress and tension there? Draw your awareness into the spine, the length of the spine, from the base of the skull to the tailbone. Allow yourself to notice the muscles that support your back. And then notice the area across the chest. And then in your solar plexus and your abdomen. Allow yourself to feel and sense tension or sense of relaxation that exists in those areas at this time. Now bring your awareness into your hips. Notice your sacrum and hips as well as your lower abdomen. Allow yourself to feel and sense if you're holding a lot of tension there. Well, let's not forget the extremities. Allow yourself to feel and sense your arms, your shoulders, upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, palms and fingers. Now bring your awareness into your hips, your thighs, your knees, calves and shins, ankles and feet. Allow yourself to feel and sense your whole body from the crown of your head to the tips of your toes. Feel and sense your whole body as sensation. Allow yourself to experience your body without judging it, without trying to fix or change anything. Just observe all the sensory input you're receiving at this time. You're noticing your breath and the body. Now notice emotions that are present at this time. Thoughts, ideas, beliefs. As you notice those things, again, observe them just like the physical sensations in your breathing. Observe. Don't try to fix or change anything at this time. Allow yourself to simply be exactly as you are. Again, the whole point of yoga is to just be, to be present with everything that you're dealing with, everything you're noticing. But don't try to fix or change anything. Just observe and be. And the whole point of yoga is to truly be exactly as we are in each and every moment. Letting go of judgment, giving ourselves permission to accept ourselves in each and every moment exactly as we are. Now, when it feels right to you, allow yourself to begin to move again. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, allow yourself to take your time as you slowly and gradually make your way back up to a comfortable upright seated posture at your own pace. You might choose a mudra, Anjali mudra, palms together, thumb knuckles resting on the sternum, gesture of gratitude and devotion. You might put your right hand in the center of your chest, left hand on top, hridaya, a gesture of self-acceptance and unconditional love. Take a moment and think about your practice today. Notice what you experienced, what you liked, what was easy, what was frustrating. Notice everything. Again, getting comfortable with truly being exactly as you find yourself. I want to thank you all for sharing your practice with me today. I honor the place in you, which is of love, of truth, of light, and of peace from my heart to yours. Namaste.